Dynamics of the energy. In the previous chapter, I have provided a description of the movement of Kundalini energy along the cerebrospinal system. I will once again come back to the region to describe more reactions later in the book. I have not included them in the previous chapter because the nature of those reactions are totally different. I would like to tell the reader that Kriya occurs all the time, around the clock. It can occur simultaneously in all the sheds of the body or in isolation only in a specific shed. Furthermore, it can also occur in a very disorderly manner in the body, the mind, and in daily life. So, it is very difficult to classify the processes of Kriya. However, in this chapter, I shall continue to describe my experiences pertaining to Kriya. The extent of energy along my cerebrospinal system triggered a Pandora box of nerves. I would constantly feel the movement of energy in my body around the clock except during deep sleep. Let me now tell you something that might surprise you. Do not assume that the energy is not at work during deep sleep. I would like to give a few examples of this and the reader can easily imagine the rest. The energy will ensure that the practitioner is granted the required awareness to make him or her realize that he or she has no control whatsoever the manifestation of Kriya in body, mind, or the external events. Hence, some of the reactions which occur defy logic and rational explanation. I have given a few examples of these reactions in this chapter, which should convey the idea to readers more than adequately. One day I was asleep in the afternoon and suddenly my phone started to ring. I woke up and attended the telephone call. The person on the other end of the line had dialed the wrong number. This telephone call had disturbed my sleep. As I returned to my bed and lied down, Kriya started off almost instantly, producing severe vibrations along my cerebrospinal system. The practitioner's sleep cycle and the duration of sleep is strictly controlled by the conscious cosmic energy. My sleep was disturbed in this way on numerous occasions. On one occasion, I drifted into a dream sequence. Suddenly, I slipped into another dream sequence that caused me to feel so much fear that I was forced to return to the waking state. Again, Kriya started off instantly, producing severe vibrations all over my cerebrospinal system. Between the dream state and waking state, there is yet another state, which is in Sanskrit is called the Tandra state. However, this state is experienced by a very few number of people in the world. Even most of the yoga texts mention only the four properly known states: the sleep state, the dream state, the waking state, and the superconscious state, the state of thoughtlessness. Not much is known about the intermediate state of Tandra, which occurs between the dream state and the waking state. I used to enter into this state very frequently, almost on the daily basis. In this state, I used to see bizarre things such as cities, towns, and villages. Some of these places were like modern towns, villages, and cities. However, I could never recognize them since I have not ever visited them in my life. Sometimes I try to read the names of these places written on the various buildings. However, the visions used to last a short time and would rapidly change. As a result, I could not read the names or any other telltale signs. Moreover, the languages were also not familiar in some cases. Sometimes I used to see pictures so strange that it is doubtful they exist or have been existed on earth. Additionally, I used to see known and unknown weapons, flora and fauna, faces of people, costumes worn by people, vehicles, etc. These visions I saw very crystal clear. This list is not exhaustible in any way. On an almost daily basis, I used to enter this state and have these visions. Kriya of this nature increasingly strengthens one's conviction that they have undergone several births prior to this present life. So, the supreme primordial energy erases all this that has been recorded by revealing it in the mind of the practitioner one last time. Along with the erasing of this record, the emotional attachments a person has with people in their present lives is wiped out as well. In one's past lives, a person must have been paramour to countless lovers, a son of countless fathers, a father to countless sons and daughters, a friend to countless friends, a daughter to countless mothers, a mother to countless children, and so on. Additionally, interest in external social life is wiped out as well without any regret or remorse. The person starts living happily within the self. This is the lasting peace of mind. This is how the knowledge of the self starts bringing about necessary transformation in the mind so as to bring the lasting peace and peace to the mind. It is how the supreme primordial force showers grace upon a person by removing all traces of emotional attachments. The mind is elevated to such high platforms that nothing can have any impact on the psychic of the practitioner. Neither happiness nor misery or any other duality of life can make an impact on the mind. The self of a person is totally satisfied within the self, and nothing else is required from the external source. This is how Siddha Mahayoga, the Grand One, propels a practitioner towards immortality. Readers are requested to understand that this transformation of mind does not occur overnight. It occurs over a prolonged period. Sometimes the energy does elevate the mind rapidly to higher states. However, the mind soon slips back down and then again is slowly elevated. Hence, perseverance is required during the practice of yoga. I shall now elaborate on the dynamics of the flow of energy through the numerous nerves in the body. Most times, I would experience a flow of energy near the region of the anus and the genitals, and sometimes in the rest of my body parts. Sometimes I would even experience the energy flow along my penis and near my pubic region. However, most of the time, the flow of the energy was restricted to the region of the anus, spreading around the buttocks. This could be due to the fact that the seat of Kundalini energy is located at the base of spine. Furthermore, as per yoga text, the energy moves up to the root of the genital region upon waking up from its dormant state. Hence, I used to experience the flow of energy everywhere around this area countless times. Many a time while meditating, I would feel such a strong sexual urge that I would have to get up and go to the toilet before returning back to my meditation. Many a time, my shorts would get wet with dripping semen. In the later days, I began meditating without clothes. Many a time, semen used to drip and fall on my meditation seat. Many a time, disgusting sex-related thoughts in relation to the near and dear and venerable people in life would flush to my mind. I would even have visions, but I preserve as a mute spectator. Thus, due to Kriya, it is possible that many sex-related thoughts will arise in the mind, that too in relation to the most respected and least expected people. This can cause a mental shock and make a person feel that they are not even worthy enough to live thereafter. Yes, the dust that has gathered and accumulated in the mind needs to get erased forever. It is the play of the supreme primordial force on the psychic of the practitioner. All the fears, anxiety, sexual fantasies, bizarre thoughts, ideas of ethics and sins, ideas of right and wrong conduct, everything needs to be experienced in mind for one last time, for a few times, before everything that is accumulated is permanently erased forever. Bizarre thoughts, including visions pertaining to the gods and goddesses, would flash through my mind. I never had back the thoughts and simply preserved as a mute spectator. watching the erosion of the dust collected in my mind. I could never imagine that even the grace of God could result in such a mentally cruel process on the path of self-realization. The energy would flow in each and every part of my body. I used to feel it flow through my scalp, nose, nostrils, ears, mouth, tongue, cheeks, eyes, throat, hands, shoulder, palms, fingers, stomach, thighs, down to the soles of my feet. Sometimes the energy would feel like a vibration, and sometimes it would prickly in nature. The mayhem continued in my body for years. The movement patterns of the energy are difficult to describe. Sometimes strange and bizarre patterns that cannot be identified with any known patterns on earth were observed. The energy moves through each and every part of the body. I could never discuss these experiences with anyone else other than my guru and very few fellow practitioners. The experiences were totally irrational, and in my case, I had never given a damn whether they were consistent with science or not.